Well, Greg, it's great to have you all the way from East Side, and I want to spend some time just talking about leadership specifically. And the first question I want to ask you is, why is there so much animosity nowadays in the church generally against leadership? Is this a new thing, or is it an old thing, or something that has always just been there? What's your perspective on that?
No, I think it's always been there. But I do think that the culture we live in, which is encouraging independence and free thinking, has made us lose the value of leadership. I mean, you see it in the home, you see it in schools, and now you're seeing it in the church. I think people are being taught it's not good to be led, and I don't think people are seeing through the ramifications of what it's going to cost us later.
So we're talking specifically church, but I mean, even thinking about world leaders, would you say that there's any good examples nowadays of people setting a good example of what leadership really is all about, even in the world today, that people can really follow?
You know, not really. I did hear an interview with the ex-Prime Minister of Ireland the other day, asking her about leadership. And she says leadership is a leader deciding to put people first and to serve them with an example to the best of their ability. She was on 702. And I thought that was interesting. But in terms of current modern leaders, it's hard to find people who are literally laying themselves down for the sake of others in terms of in any area of government. Many people say they are. You know, I mean, America's president was launched on a huge success wave, and look at him now. They reckon he's not even going to make a second term. So no, not that I can see.
Oh, you've been leading a church since the age of 24, so you must have learned a lot of lessons. So maybe you can share some of those things with us, some of the good things, maybe some of the bad things, some things that have really stood out to you when it comes to those things of leadership.
I think for me, one of the first keys is to learn that as a leader, it's a good idea to recognize that you must work in team. You can't do it on your own. You desperately need the opinions of others. And I think the younger I was, the more I was convinced I was right most of the time. And but I had leaders with me, and so I never made a whole lot of mistakes because I had wise guys around me, and I asked their opinions always, which helped me. The few occasions I didn't, it cost me because I said things with exuberance that I shouldn't have said. I think that's one of them. I think one of the others is to remember that it's always people before projects. So if you keep God's people first, they feel like they count. And I don't think we should ever get in the habit of using people for the sake of the ministry. The ministry is the people. And I think for me, that's one thing God's taught me is to value and love every person, regardless of how many people come, and to put them above what the church is supposed to do. Because they're the ones, if they catch our hearts, who are going to do the work. I'd say those are two big things.